Welcome.
Welcome to BitmonkeyTV. This is episode number 11. My name is Marcelo.
And I'm Scott.
And I'm just going to be doing something over here while Scott takes over.
All right. Well, today we're doing another kind of Wing It Mondays.
It's we've had a lot that we've been working on outside of the BitmonkeyTV.
We're getting ready for...
and that's a priority right now.
Yeah, for our product launch.
So,
project launch.
Project, yeah. Yeah, we're not doing
pause that.
There we go.
This guy's still learning. Episode 11.
I know, man. It's a matter of time. It's a matter of time.
But today we're going to talk about... Actually, you should propose the topic because you actually came up with it, if you can remember it.
You know what? So we come up with ideas and like we'll forget the ideas because, I mean, ideas are a dime a dozen nowadays. It's like...
That's a terrible take. Anyways, Marcelo. Okay, so Marcelo proposed that idea.
Anybody can have an idea. The whole point is executing on the idea.
Right,
That's what I mean by that comment. All right, that's for the record. That is what I mean. So.
That's right. Marcelo's causing controversy. We're like 2 minutes into the show. Let's go.
Not even 30 seconds. We're 47 seconds.
Love it. Okay,
let's fucking go.
So what Marcelo asked me before this, to take this back to, I guess, the point of this episode is we're going to be talking about kind of life-changing moments early in our career. He needs some energy. Early in our career that helped us grow or, kind of learn something as people, as artists, as business owners.
Can I take my take on the question, right?
Yeah, sure.
I think it was also maybe the way in the thought, right? Maybe the way I worded it was we should share 2 obstacles or roadblocks or thoughts of situations, events, or parts of your early career that you had to overcome or that were memorable. And looking back, you're like, holy shit, had I not experienced this or thought this or gone through this, then I wouldn't be where I am today. And I came up with 2, just being 1 each. We can either do 2 each if we come up with 2 each. But the idea was 1 significant moment in each of our lives, 2 for you, the audience.
Sure.
So does that sound good?
Yeah, sounds good to me.
Did that make more sense
it's
to
funny. It's funny that he asked me this because there was actually basically this, not the same exact question, but a similar question proposed on Twitter earlier.
No shit.
And I answered it.
That's
so
funny.
I'll probably use the same 2 answers because that's kind of what's in my head right now. But we'll see where we go. Do you want me to start? You want to start? Do you want to?
I'm gonna let you start because I might be silent for a moment because I honestly I asked the question but I haven't even really thought.
Yeah, I mean mine's easy. We already kind of talked about.
There's a couple. I feel like we might do this episode a couple different times.
Sure.
Different perspectives. So, but you go.
Sure. All right. So the first, I guess like event or not really event, but the first thing that kind of changed my life, for like I guess that had the biggest impact early on in my career where I kind of like was struggling to find my place. I'm gonna sit back from my mic a little bit. I think I'm loud. Was when I went to art school. Initially, I was going to the Academy of Art. And I was living at my parents' house, and I was making that commute. It was on BART. I think it was like an hour and a half each way, kind of depending on what I had to wait for. So like that was eating, 2 to 3 hours of my time, commuting each way, where I could be putting that towards, making connections in the art world, or client-wise, or just getting better at my art. Whether that's 2 to 3 hours shooting, practicing. That was time that I was losing.
Yeah.
And also, I just didn't feel like I was super immersed in the art world, being outside. And I grew up in San Ramon, small little well, it's not so small anymore, but it was a smaller town in the East Bay.
Yeah, it used to be a village with a dirt road.
Yeah, it was tiny.
I mean, that was before us.
But before us, yeah. But so making that commute and stuff, it was a bit of a challenge, but I also felt like it took me way out of the art world. Yeah. Like San Francisco is this creative place, and especially at that time, it was like really like kind of a hot spot for growth and development, like with all the apps being developed there, and then even like art, was having a moment with Instagram. So I realized that early on that I was taking myself too much out of the space that I wanted to be in, the community. And I also realized,
that time that you were spending commuting was like, whoa,
exactly, too much.
This could be spent wisely.
Yeah.
Right?
Also, I was telling you a little little bit about this. My life, like I grew up having a pretty, easy childhood for the most part. Like, my parents both worked really hard for my brothers and, I to have a really good, upbringing. We grew up in San Ramon. I went to De La Salle for high school, which is a great high school. Yeah. And I was kind of set up to succeed in life. But, at the same point, like, I mean, my parents are amazing. They did the best they could, with what they were given, and they did awesome. I love my parents. But to an extent, they love me so much, they give too much that, like, it's almost like if I never turn down, the offer, they're always going to try to help me out in life. I'm never going to really do it on my own kind of thing. So that, in a way, me sort of not living in San Ramon, cutting them off and like going to live in San Francisco, which is a story I'm going to tell you guys, was a way for me to kind of go out on my own.
Branch off and feel that independence.
Feel the independence, like fail,
if you
learn
fuck
a lot.
Up, it's on you.
Yeah, but that's all on me. It's no one else but my fault, and I'll learn so much from it. So I was in art school at the time. One of my best friends, still to this day, Robbie Derler. I was going to art school, and we met actually through Burning Man. Of all things.
This is the same house you were at when you cracked your phone the other episode, right?
No, different house, same guy.
Same person, but
same
person.
Same. Yeah. But so,
as the term goes, same shit, different toilet. I know that was not PG.
So I'm sitting there in the editing room at Academy of Art, and I'm typing or editing and stuff, working on my photos. And then Robbie's over here, and I didn't know him at the time. He was working on photos, and all of a sudden I see like some festival shots. I'm like, oh shit. Huh. I just came back from Burning Man. No, I think he was actually editing other festival photos, but like I thought it, it was the same thing, or something. Yeah. And we just kind of started talking about it. But he quickly became, one of my best friends, and still, like I said, to this day, I hung out with him this weekend in San Francisco and at the Academy of Art. And I was like, man, I was at his house all the time because we were just hanging out, doing art projects and stuff together. I was like, okay, Robbie, and actually, to preface like me staying at his house, I stayed on someone's couch in San Francisco for 2 weeks. My buddy Kevin, shout out Kevin Slaughtermaker, the OG who let me crash on his couch. But Robbie, essentially, because I knew that I needed a place to keep my things, to keep my backpack. And Robbie and I were always working on projects anyway, so it made sense. But I still had no money. Like, I was so poor. And I had taken out loans to go to Academy of Art, and I was working, random jobs here and there just to afford to live in the city. And I was like, man, just let me live in your garage.
What year was this? What time frame? To put this into perspective for everybody.
2011.
2011. So this is like
maybe 2012. Somewhere on that time frame.
Okay.
And it was towards fall, so I began living there in the fall. And then ended up, leaving sometime around the winter. But I was in his garage for months, living in a tent on an air mattress in his garage. And this is all just so I can be
grimy.
Yeah, in the city. It was grimy. Yeah. Like we were college kids, going to school during the day, partying, creating art, doing whatever, at nighttime or on the weekends. And it was fun, but it was also extremely rough. Like, because it's San Francisco, if you're familiar with the environment, it's really damp because of the fog, especially out on the west coast. Yeah, far west coast of like Sutro Baths. It is very damp. So like, say I'd wash clothes, I could never hang up like air dry anything. And even just sitting there, even indoors,
even with a space heater,
space heater.
That's crazy,
dude. It was like the most like fog ridden place, which I loved. Like, it was so moody. I love photographing it, but it just had its own, like, you had your own like Sutro, or like I guess far, like, I don't know, coastal musk from living on the beach.
See, we're right over the ocean, right over the bridge, and we get that sometimes, but not as bad. Like, I used to go visit my sister when she lived out in the city, and I could only imagine, man. Like, if my heater doesn't at least warm up the room, we got a problem.
Yeah, and then imagine that, I'm sleeping on a blow-up mattress, but you know what this did? This, I mean, it roughened me, it sharpened my edges. I don't know, life beat me down a bit, and sometimes it was, really hard to get up in the morning and go.
It ruffled your feathers and sharpened your edges.
Yes, that works. I like it. But I learned so much from it, from that struggle. I had to take the bus to get to school, which I wasn't accustomed to. So if I missed,
was that your first time ever on a bus?
No, I think I had taken buses before, but that was the first time I had a bus commute. That was like, this is my bus. I ride this up and down. I would bring my skateboard sometimes to like cruise up and down the streets to class. Yeah. But it was such a struggle. Imagine, like, I had to make prints at times, and I'm making these prints and carrying it on a public bus, you know, with me. And all of my photo
you have
gear.
those like circular tubes like the architects
I
carry around, you know?
I should have. I was
protecting
poor.
everything.
I literally spent my money on like the printing paper and whatever. I did, you know, what I could to get by. And it was such a learning time for me because I was on my own, right? And I was making up, you know, my own rules and my own timeline. Not that I wasn't before art school because I was living on my own in Long Beach, but this was much more like, I have to make money to survive. Like I was working for a pawn shop, shooting photos for them. I shot like a bunch of coins and vases and stuff.
Like old school coins.
Yeah. Anything they would bring to the pawn
client
shop.
that collected and resold those. He built his own like bidding platform. Some of those coins go for like $250,000 for a single coin.
Yeah, and they
even
has
had boxes of them.
Yeah, they had jewelry
Fucking
coming
insane.
in, like Tiffany's, Cartier, I'm blanking, but like literally high-end Gucci, like a bunch of like gold jewelry and stuff, and it was really cool. It actually made me, man, working at that job, working with all the different reflections and every different angle that you had to photograph these weird things at, that was a learning experience. And that was doing at the same time that I was shooting for a florist.
Okay.
So I was working
So you were doing a lot of like just different. You weren't really one industry specific. You
no,
were
at this
as
time,
much industry,
and literally I would take anything: a
experience as
wedding, engagement, family photos, you name it. If I could shoot it and, you know, make some money, I was there.
At this time, were you on Instagram?
This was about, this is when I started getting on Instagram. And actually, some of my earlier photos, you can see the setup of like how I shot the jewelry. It was so, it's funny. Actually, it's really funny to look back on it and like see how resourceful I was. Yeah. You know, because I didn't have the funds to like go buy some like V flats and like really fancy lights. I was using their hot lights.
What's a V flat?
Like a V flat is just like a big like kind of light bounce. So like you can have like a white. No. You use it to reflect light. So instead of having two lights, like let's say I put one here and I have my bounce here, it bounces off of it and creates almost two angles for light. Or you can use the reverse side, a black side of the V flat that eats light, so it increases like shadow depth and stuff, so you can manipulate light a bit.
Interesting.
They're fun. But we didn't have all that. I had like little poster boards, and sometimes I'd like cut up like things so I could create reflections, like black reflections and stuff. And it was such a like time because I didn't have money and I was living kind of out there, you know, paycheck to paycheck. I was extremely resourceful with how I shot and what I needed to shoot. And, you know, it's almost something I wish I could go back to, that kind of hunger. I mean, I'm almost there, you know. This pandemic has really been a rough ride, but and it's
I'm getting back into that college mode where I'm just my diet's way better, but as far as saving, spending as minimal as possible. Yeah, when you're saving and you're only spending what you really need. Yeah, and so that's one thing especially it taught me. Still working on it, of course. And we're all a project. Life's a work in progress, man. Life is always a work in progress.
Yeah, but
anyone who says they got to figure it out is full of shit.
Yep. No, it's a learning every day.
No
thing.
offense.
Yeah.
But you know that's true.
But I mean, I guess to just wrap that up, it was such a difficult living experience. I think I was there from like 4 to 6 months, and eventually at the end of my time there, like I had it. I was like, I cannot live in the garage anymore. Luckily, one of his roommates moved out from upstairs, and I had saved enough, and I moved in. So I literally started at the bottom.
So how long were you at the bottom right there? How long did you say? Like 10 months?
I think it was about 6 months.
Okay.
I want to say living in garage in the winter, fall to winter in San Francisco.
Props, man. That's fucking awesome.
You know, did what I had to do.
That's dope. Yeah, I love it. So that built that resilience in you to be able to do that more and more. And man, I remember when I was always hanging out with your brother, right? And you'd be talking about how you're waking up at 4 a.m., 3 a.m. just to drive how many ever hours to a place before the sun comes up.
Exactly. That's the best time. To prepare.
Like the commitment you've had to your craft, I have a feeling a lot of that preparation and that grit of waking up that early comes from those days. Am I wrong?
Oh yeah, no, definitely. Yeah. I learned because I was never really stay out late or get up ultra early person. Kind of slept in a little later, fell asleep whenever I wanted to, but you know,
he does what he wants
with photography. I mean, I just didn't really have like a reason to be up, like unless I was working or, you know, there was a party or whatever.
Yeah.
But like photography got me into this crazy rhythm of always like, I was always like the first person up and the last person awake, you know, just capturing moments. Well, I just imagine that, you know, such a small percentage of people actually stay awake during those hours because they're at home, they're relaxing, and I'm out there climbing a hill, getting my shoes messed up, you know, like destroying my clothes for a shot.
Yeah.
And that was fun to me. That was like, I'm out here like living life how it should be lived in. And I would like, you know, I'm not really at that moment in my life right now. I'm doing different things. My life just shifted, but I would love to get back to that, like just kind of attack life mode someday.
I have a feeling we're going to be right back in it. I mean, this next week is.
I mean, in a different way, it is. It is attacking life.
I get what you mean. I get what you mean. Though.
Go everywhere every day. Wake up early. Like I feel like I had something to prove a lot more then, and now I sort of know I've proven myself and I know my worth. And it's like, how do I mix that with my lifestyle now? And how do I, you know, grow into the artist I'm supposed to be and not just be that?
You know, I'm going to quote Rob Dyrdek, who he might have quoted somebody else.
Fantasy Factory.
But the depth of clarity is the greatest form of peace and happiness. Just an opinion, right? It's based on a perspective that belief, having the belief is all you really need, is all that really matters for you to achieve whatever you want to achieve. In order for you to achieve it, you have to believe. If you don't have belief, it's not going to succeed.
It's true.
So when you think back to that quote, having belief and knowing, having that depth of clarity of knowing what's meaningful to you. I don't know. I think it sets you up for success.
Yeah. I mean, you have to believe in yourself. You have to believe in what you're doing.
Yeah.
That's like with art. I tell everyone.
Otherwise,
like,
the work you do is going to be shit. Right?
Exactly.
The art you do is going to be shit.
Well, it's not so much that. It's that like when you're putting art out there, right? And you want your people to like your art, the best thing you can do is love your art. And even if it's like, you know, something's off about it, like it's not 100%, you know, that perfectionist in you is like, oh, it could have been that much better. Just forget it and just love your art. Like you're like infection. Like if you're like, this is the best, like I love this piece and I love it because of this. And this is why, like, it's like, I just love it. It makes me smile. Like like, if you're actually like really into your art, it'll rub off on other people and they'll begin to love your art too.
Yep.
Like they'll catch that energy and that vibe.
It's contagious.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah.
Like,
and that's one thing that I used to harp on all the time. And I think it's something I need to remember more is like, I created that. I put it out into the world and I should be proud of it. You know, whether it's maybe not the best art, like, or it's bad art, no matter what I put out, I created something that's in the world. I think just the act of creating it's such a powerful thing.
Yeah. I like it.
Yeah.
No, dude, thanks for sharing. That was, I know you briefly told part of that off air, but man, it was really interesting to hear that story of so mine, I'm gonna theme this around Optimo, you know, because looking back, that 2008, 2009, 2010, 11, and 12, those first 4.5, 5 years of her life, that's what really shaped me. I can't tell you how broke I was. I made sure I was making money, but I had such a lifestyle where it was spending just as much more than I was making, right? So the financial aptitude was non-existent. No, this was raising Optimo.
Okay.
This was raising Optimo. This was learning all my lessons, right? Ringing up these credit cards and then forgetting about them, letting them go to collection. Stupid shit like that in my younger days, right? And this was fresh out of high school. So in high school, as some of you may or may not know, I didn't finish completely. So my education experience is a little different, you know. But I guess where I'm going with that is, you know, those first 4 or 5 years, I really learned a lot about saving first and foremost to actually plan for emergencies. I learned what it meant to have that feeling, to have somebody else rely on you. And I know I say somebody, she's a dog for some people out there. They look
Those
at dogs,
people right there.
They look at dogs differently, right? But she was like a daughter, right? Straight up. Yeah. And you don't think about it until the end, all the lessons you learn. You don't think about it until they're gone. You know, all those little moments that you wish you can take back. Like, I wish part of me, like we were talking about earlier, it's not that I want to reverse time. It's like, man, what I would give just to go experience 48 hours in that time frame, to experience that feeling I had of being broke, of her having skin problems. I think I had to drop close to $3,000 just on a whim for mites or mange, or I forget the exact thing. I had to put a Vaseline on her eyes. Long story short, I was a broke college kid enough as it was. And I remember crossing, it was like a decision I had to make. I was like, well, is the money worth it, right? To help my dog. And I was like, at the end of it, I slapped myself for even having to make that decision.
Thinking about that.
Yeah, right? Because it should be no matter, but I even had to make that decision at the end.
Yeah.
It sucks.
I mean, I'm a dog owner too. I know.
And the one thing I've realized, like, as a dog owner, no matter what your decision is, just know it's the right decision. No matter what you're going through, nobody can tell you right or wrong. Whatever decision you make is the right decision. So don't forget that. That's something I wish I knew. But yeah, man, I wish I can take it back.
Feel it, getting those moments back. Woo.
Yeah. Sorry, I kind of. Yeah.
You good?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll be all right. Appreciate you.
Love is real.
So
the love is real.
Love is real. I know I wanted to go somewhere else with that, but kind of losing track. So I'm going to leave it at that.
It's all good. You want me to take over?
Yeah.
Number 2?
Yeah.
All right.
Appreciate you.
Oh, good, bro. Let me think. I think that we'll give him a second. I think for me, I guess like the second time, actually, you know, just going back off of that Twitter post where it prompted the question, a really turning point in my life was when my buddy Ravi Vora, if you guys are familiar with him and his work, he's a great photographer. He's dove into 3D modeling recently. He's makes films. He can do it all. He's an artist. But you know, I was working for this company, Latote. Shout out Brett Northart. You all right? You good?
Yeah, I'm good.
Okay, cool. And Rakesh, for bringing me on. They really believed in me early on to help them start up this fashion company. And I was a budding photographer. You know, I had all the confidence in the world, but you know, applying all of that in this like fast startup life was crazy. So I worked for them for I think 3 to 4 years. I want to say somewhere around that ballpark. And shooting e-commerce for them, shooting lookbooks, shooting you know, the web catalog, shooting anything we needed for marketing tools or whatever, was really like kind of crazy. And even in my downtime, I was like, we didn't always have a ton of work photography wise, especially at the very beginning. So I was like, you know, put me to work here. I'm going to be here anyways. So I would like steam clothes and make boxes. But fast forward a little bit after working for them, I'd learned so much, but I felt like I was ready for that next step. And this project came along where I actually got to location scout for Nike. And I don't think I knew it at the time initially when they had contacted me to location scout who the photographer was that was working on it. But it ended up being, you know, one of my good friends now and a great photographer, Ravi. And I was like, oh crap. You know, I'd known about him through Instagram, like his style and, you know, what he had shot. I think we had met at an Instameet like one time before this shoot. But like, I was like, damn, this is crazy. Okay. So I like, you know, I put my all into scouting these, locations for Nike, talking about, just to catch you up, talking about, how I kind of got put on for Nike and, you know, shooting for them and learning about that. But so I get hit up like to do this location scouting. I'm going all around San Francisco. I'm shooting photos. All the cool places, you know, that I had been to before, places that inspired me, places that I had actually never been to before, which is really cool because I wanted to give them unique angles on San Francisco that maybe weren't on social media, or a lot of people didn't know how to get to. So I'm kind of running around getting all these different looks. And it was really fun because like I explore, you know, on my own naturally, but to give in a challenge to kind of explore and find new angles and like places that we can shoot runners, it was really awesome. And it kind of opened my eyes to the beauty of San Francisco, but also like different angles and things I might not have noticed before. So I sent them this deck with all these like locations on it, and they're like, oh, these are awesome. You know, do you want to actually come with us on the shoot, you know, to the locations so you can, you know these locations in and out? I'm like, yes, yes, I'm 100% there. I'm still actually, I think at this point I was living at Robbie's house. I think I was in the upstairs, but I was still broke, like poor as shit. And so I'm like, yes, I love this. Like, this is amazing. This is like what I want to be around, being on set, like around, you know, this talent and like being a part of the production. And so I forget when I learned that Ravi was shooting it, but I'm like, oh, Ravi's shooting it. Like, that's cool. Like we knew of each other. We'd hung out before. But I came to find out later on that he was actually the person who suggested me for location scouting, which was really cool.
That's awesome.
Yeah. So
and you didn't know. And
I didn't know that.
Like, so he knew of you, obviously.
He knew of me because I think we had met one time at an Insta meet, and I didn't really, you know, think I made that big of an impression. But he had known of my work, you know, and that I was, you know, local to San Francisco.
That's fucking cool, man.
Yeah, so it was really cool.
Shit,
so,
I didn't know that.
Yeah, so I show up on set, and I'm mind you, I'm very poor at this time. So I show up on set, and I have these beaters. Like, I don't even remember what type of shoe they were, but they were a running shoe, and they weren't Nike.
A6 or something?
No, they weren't even A6. They weren't that good.
They weren't that good.
No. And I show up, and he looks down at my shoes. The producer looks down at my shoes. He goes, "Really? On a Nike shoot?" And I'm like, I'm doing the best I can. I think they eventually got me some shoes.
I was about to say, well, isn't it your job to fit me? Like,
I mean, on that shoot, I don't know. I definitely, like, you know, was hooked up later on, but it was kind of a funny moment.
That's
you know,
hilarious.
Showing up for my first shoot at Nike, and I'm repping some other shoe brand.
Dude, that would have been me. I'd rep Adidas because I like Adidas.
But, you know, so through working hard, so I worked really hard on getting them these locations, right? And then they invited me on to set, you know, to be there as like kind of a location guide. And I think, I was so ambitious and like, just like, oh, I'm so excited to be here, just helping out where I can, you know, on location, that they were like, hey, you know, they ran out of time at the end sort of. And they were like, we have these shoes. Do you want to shoot them? And I'm like, me? I get to shoot, like, I'm going to shoot for Nike, but like, you know, in my head, but I'm like, yeah, sure. I'll shoot them, you know.
You're right, but you're like, you're just,
But inside I'm freaking out. I'm like, holy shit, Nike, you know, like, and at this time I was very like, this was definitely the biggest brand I had ever shot for. And you know, Nike has all this, you know, they're such a huge company. Everyone knows Nike. So I was like, all right, cool. So I worked with the creative director on this, and I don't know if that's actually his proper title, creative director, but Cam, he's just genius. This dude is awesome. Such a powerful, like, intelligent dude. But he helps me a bit with the creative, because like they had some ideas for what they wanted to do with the shoe, and I just needed to execute it. So they were like, here's some lights, here's some shoes, go make some images. So I go.
So they give you most of the equipment?
Yeah.
Camera,
I had my camera and stuff. So I, you know, actually, I'm pretty sure I used my own camera for that. So I go out into San Francisco and I shoot some photos. And, you know, I was like, yeah, maybe they'll use it. Like, I was pretty happy with them. They were, in my eyes, I was like, yes, I think I executed.
These are good shots,
You know, but it's Nike. I don't know if I live up to their standards. So I give them the photos. And then it was maybe like a week or two later, at Nike on Instagram, posted one of my images. And I'm like,
that's
Mama, I made it, you know, like, look at me, I'm on TV, like, kind of.
That's awesome. So that was that moment.
So yeah, that was one of those moments where I'm just like, damn, okay, all my hard work amounted to something. Like, this is going somewhere. I see, you know, this effort, you know, I might be struggling financially, you know, I'm finding my place in the world, but by working hard on this and doing, you know, being passionate about photography, being passionate about just, you know, being there and being a part of that, led me to, you know, that opportunity. And then it just kind of, you know, snowballed from there. I was shooting for them more and more, and it was just such a great time in my life where I was learning a lot and getting to work on all these crazy projects that, you know, I wouldn't have been, you know, maybe I wouldn't have been there if it wasn't for certain, you know, things lining up. Ravi, you know, recommending me working at Latote, being available, you know, all these things lined up, and just it all met perfectly.
Yeah. Dude, that's awesome. It's amazing. Like what aligns at what time. And what we were talking about earlier, it's like, man, if only we can go back. And I was like, yeah. We probably wouldn't be working on this project together right now if we both, wanted to,
Oh, yeah.
You know what I mean? Like that whole idea of it's amazing looking back.
Yeah. It's
what lined up to make certain things happen.
Yeah. And looking back to learn lessons, but, time moves forward. You got to move forward.
Exactly.
That's it.
Yeah. And for me, sorry, I kind of dipped out there. One thing I'm learning is don't talk about her on air. That's one thing I'll do.
Let's
for a
keep
while.
it positive. Let's get that energy up.
Yeah. But man, the discipline, the consistency, and the confidence that I have today started from those times raising her. So that's why I wanted to bring, shed some light.
Yeah.
Kind of like in a form of remembrance. Maybe I'll throw up some images and shit at the end. But but yeah, it's man. I wouldn't, take it back, but I'd love to go back for 48 hours. That's for damn sure.
I feel it. Let's move forward.
Yeah.
Let's go to your number 2. Like what?
No, we were doing 2 total, 1 each.
We're
doing 2?
I did 2. I talked about my living in San Francisco and then the Nike experience, or with Ravi.
Okay.
Fighting me.
I thought it was 2 total, 1 each.
You did. You only did 1.
Yeah.
I did 2.
No, I know.
Quick maths.
We're doing
Quick
this
maths.
all live. Who's streaming? We need to pull up the comments. We appreciate it. Appreciate it, Dream.
Hey,
Gary.
Dream.
I believe that's your name, right, Gary? I know he calls you Dream Joker. Is that, I'm assuming that's the name. I like the nickname. Yeah, right.
The Dream.
Right? It's Dream. Appreciate the support. Hey. Let's see. One more, eh?
Like one thing in your life that really kind of changed your life, shifted your momentum, put you on the right track, something like that.
Oh, shit. Now, what I'm about to say, take this with a grain of salt, a grain of sand.
All right, I'm ready.
Whatever that terminology is. So I never will ever impose my diet on anybody else. Never.
Hey, there you
Never.
go. That's
okay. First and foremost, we like what we like, right? If you want to eat your red meat, your chicken, whatever it is, like
he's vegan, by the way, or some form of vegan. There you go.
I just say plant-based. You know, I first cut red meat. First it was cheese because I was very self-conscious, right? Body thickness, whatever. And so it started from a place of ego. Mm-hmm. But what formed through the process was something really amazing, because then I started to learn about my body. I started to learn about what I actually need to power my body and how to power my body in an efficient way. And it all started by testing myself. It was a test of self-will. I was like, fuck it. I'm going to cut cold turkey meat, no more. And I was the bacon wrapped kid. Like in college, I would go buy a pound of bacon and a head of broccoli. I'd cook them both in the oven. I'd eat them both together. That was dinner.
Damn.
Yeah. Mixed in with some liquor, whatever else we were drinking that night.
College.
Right? So, it was consistent. Yeah. I don't say that to, I just I wanted to give you that perspective that meat and me always mixed. I loved it, right? Good old New York steak. Like, however, after those first 30 days, I did get really sick because I did it wrong. You're not supposed to cut cold turkey. It's just like a drug, right? If you take your body off of a drug after eating that consistently for many years, if not your entire lifetime, well, you're gonna have some withdrawals of some sort. So I went through a 2-day period. Maybe it was only like a day and a half, but I remember, man, I had been independent for a long time. Never called my mom when I was sick. I remember calling my mom. I was like, "Can I come over? I think I'm gonna noodle soup." She goes, "Yeah, what's wrong?" I was like, "I need some soup, but I also, if I die, I'd rather be there." And she goes, "What?" And I'm like, "This is how bad I'm hurting." She's like, "You should go to the hospital." I was like, No. Give me another day. I felt that I was gonna be okay. I knew it wasn't anything like I need to go to. I had that sense about me. But man, after that day, I shit you not, I haven't been sick. No sicknesses.
Ever.
Never. Now, I've caused a sickness through maybe if I'd go out, have some drinks and have some fun, or go out on a cold night without a jacket, have a sniffly nose the next, things like that. But truly fever-induced sickness, like I used to get strep
actually
throat
like bedridden and stuff.
Yeah, I used to be bedridden like a couple times a year and different weekends, right? And it was like strep throat once a year. I forget what else, and all of that gone. So after experiencing that, right? So past that 30 days, I was like, okay, 30 days, let me go 60. Made it 60, it was no problem. Went 6 months. After 6 months, went 1 year. After 1 year, mind you, at the time I was still eating eggs because I was still in the gym a lot. So I needed that protein. And in my mind, I was still dairy and eggs at the time, but no cheese. Cut all the meat. And a year in, my body just, I forget what it was, but it rejected eggs. It rejected, it smelled all the shit smelled sour to me. So I just started listening to my body. Anytime I felt like I needed something acidic, I'd eat something acidic, right? And now it's been like that. So I determine my meals on any given week based off of how I feel, because my body knows what nutrients I'm slacking on. Yeah. Now I'm gonna go back to what I said at the beginning. I don't know everything about diet and nutrition. But one thing I do know better than anything else is my body. I know how to power it. I know how to energize it with minimal caffeine. And I've done this through repetition, through practicing, through trial and error. I can't tell you how many different diets I've tried and sleep routines I've tried. I've tried that every 2 hours, take a 20-minute
diets don't really work though.
For a couple of weeks. It was some of the most I know, but you got to try these things to learn. So I'm not saying all this is diet advice, but what I'm trying to say is the lessons I learned from this transition, right, about my body set me up for the greatest success of them all, right? Because you got to take care of, like, no matter what you're working on in life, you can have the best fucking idea, but if you have shit health and you don't make it to actually help see that idea through, well, guess what? Somebody else is going to take over your idea after you croak or something happens to you. See my point? So my whole thing is taking care of me.
So what you're saying is I need to go vegan.
No.
Are you trying to put that on me?
No. I'm not telling anybody to go vegan. I mean,
starting
you guys
some drama.
Do what you do. Just be healthy. Learn about your body. Learn what fuels you.
What if my body is like
a big C, and this is why I say take it.
I want a sausage egg McMuffin every single day.
Then by all means do that. Just don't fucking complain year after year about some stupid shit related to that. That's what I'm saying. Do whatever diet you want. Just don't go sitting there complaining about your diet when you're in full control. It's just you don't have the mental strength to do it. You know. And I understand. Like I want to be sensitive to because I say this at a certain point where I don't know. Maybe the words coming out of my mouth may sound aggressive or offensive, but that's not my intention. So forgive me if that's what you're feeling.
No, I'm just talking shit.
But I've learned lessons a certain way, and that's how I feel about my diet, right? Yeah. And it's played a big role in all of me starting my business, 2014.
Yeah. Well, fun fact. So I'm not vegan by any means, but I do actually enjoy eating vegan everywhere. Shout out Ravi, he's vegan too.
Oh, is he? Shout out Ravi.
Ashley Vegan, my cousin, tried to do it for a while, so I followed him.
No, don't ever listen to that guy. If he ever tells you he's vegan,
I'm not saying don't ever listen. Never listen to Ashley.
Well, I'm not saying don't ever listen, but if he's trying to tell you he's vegan,
or he's fake vegan.
Any diet suggestions that guy has, I love you, AJ. Much love.
He's probably gonna watch this. He's gonna love the shout out.
His definition of a vegan is still eating chicken.
No, but okay. So what I was gonna say is like
I forget that.
I enjoy following along with someone's diet. Like
he's gonna love this one.
He knows I'll eat like vegan and stuff when I'm with him. We'll go get like vegan burgers
and if I'm
or
cooking
vegan pizza or if he's cooking. And I really like that. I like experiencing that lifestyle and trying those different things. And like I think for me it's like finding a good balance. Like I love meat and I could probably cut it out, but I don't know if that's that's just not me. We're on our own personal diets. Like you're on the plant-based diet and that's what works for you.
Yeah,
for me
and
now,
that's why
like here there
I'll still cook meat. Like remember Ben?
Yeah,
obviously you remember Ben. It's your brother. But
hey, you remember your brother? Yeah, I kind of do. Like
I was talking to you like you were some old
known
friend
him for all my life.
That's so funny. I cooked him and the girls a New York steak when I was over there as a little thank you. And I still got it. I know I still got it. They like that New York steak.
Yeah, that's good. That's good.
I still have my touch on how many times I flip it, how I season it, my process, and how to keep it juicy. I just couldn't try it. That was the shittiest part. Like I could cut it and I could see it.
You have them taste test it.
Like, ooh. Yeah. That was a good cut.
Yep.
Smells good, but yeah, never.
So what are some tips that you could give anyone who's like thinking about going vegan or plant-based? Like what are your like first like top 3?
Yeah, don't cut cold turkey like I did, because the sickness, I've heard a lot of people say they went vegan for 30 days and they quit, and a lot of them run into the same issue. They'll try something cold turkey and they can't, this is going to sound like I'm talking shit on them, but they can't persevere through that.
Some people have weaker guts, stomachs.
Exactly.
Like,
and I'm sensitive to everybody's body composition. I've always had a hard head. I've always had a high pain tolerance. I got a funny story about the dentist in Brazil. Hold up, I got.
You listen to me talk all the time.
I know,
your
right?
Pain tolerance is high.
No, but I got to go off on this. So the last time I was in Brazil.
Yeah.
Right before COVID, actually, I got another root canal, and I was getting.
This guy has like the worst dentist history ever.
You know, and I'm not proud of it, but I say it because now I floss every night. I brush almost 3 times a day, definitely twice a day, sometimes 3 times a day, depending on how much I eat in the middle of the day. But this lady had to use 10 vials of the thing because it wasn't
of the thing. What is the thing?
The thing,
like numbing.
The numbing thing. Yeah, I was doing this to signal. They put it in a gun. Put it in your thing. Should have used 10 of those on me.
What is the word? Anesthesia.
She came out to the front desk lady like, you would not believe this guy, and held him out like it was a fucking accomplishment. And I'm like, I couldn't feel my goddamn. I was like drilling out my mouth, but point is, like, I kept feeling her drill in there. Yeah. Because this was my third. So I'm not proud of that, but
Wait, where does this tie into the top 3 things that I asked you about? I'm so confused where this is going.
I have no idea. We were talking about pain tolerance, and I got distracted. What are the comments saying?
Do you
guys want to hear these distractions? That's I love it.
So this guy can go off on a tangent, and I won't even realize it until we're like way down that rabbit hole.
That's fucking hilarious.
Okay, so there was 3 things. One was don't go cold turkey. Let's go through this.
Yeah, don't go cold turkey.
Don't go cold turkey. What's number 2 for anyone thinking about going vegan and or plant-based? I love that I'm like wrangling you, and I'm like, get back to this.
I don't know if I want to shout out that book. Yeah. Miyoko's. She's responsible for a lot of those brands that brand that's in a lot of new Whole Foods and Sprouts. You'll see a lot of plant-based cashew cheese, cashew cream cheese. I think it's Miyoko's. I hope I'm not butchering that.
Probably.
However, she has a farm up here in Marin County. It's a company based out of California, and her cookbook was very helpful. I wish I discovered that cookbook my first year, because my first year I was still.
You didn't know.
I didn't know really what I was doing. Right, my energy levels were fluctuating still. Yeah. That year 1, year 2, year 3, it was learning, and then I was really, after 3 years of the transition of cooking a lot, of cooking bland food, it's like, all right, time to spice things up. And that's when things started to shift. That's when I started to realize, holy shit, I can soak a cup of cashews and make this nacho cheese sauce that can be a condiment on every meal, and added nutrition and all these crazy other benefits that we don't think about, right? So that's huge.
I think by like virtue of just going vegan, you like automatically have to learn how to cook for yourself. Otherwise, you're not going to find a lot of options. Yeah, like there will be options out there, but
unless you want to just eat,
you're gonna.
I don't want to promote this, but I've heard people say the word vegan and Oreo in the same sentence. Yes, they're vegan, but.
Wait, what makes them not vegan? What makes you shake your head at that? If they're vegan,
go read some of the ingredients. Tell me if
because they're just
pronounce them
fake.
And explain them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay. Number 3.
And so I've transitioned into no more high fructose corn syrup. No more certain things I've cut.
Is that number 3?
I don't eat any more other types of rice except for wild rice, unless I'm out to a restaurant.
This is 2.5.
Yeah. So like you adapt, but my whole point is like as you're going down that path, each body's different. My suggestions are not going to be the same for what will work for you.
I'm just getting a top 3.
That was my top 3.
I'm trying to interview you.
Are you?
I'm interviewing you. I'm practicing.
Okay. Well, you're doing a horrible job.
I know. I can't wrangle you into this interview for shit. I'm trying to like circle things back, and I'm like, and how does that tie to point number 2? Right. Okay. All right. I love it. We're figuring it out.
I think this is a great episode.
Yeah,
I think there's a lot of added value. Yeah.
Just messing with you.
Yeah, no, I know.
So I think that's like.
So I hope that was 3 points. Yeah.
For me, that's it. Those are the turning points in my life. I mean, early on, I think there's definitely been like different kind of turning points, and those ones were big in my early career. I hope that, you know, a few years down the road, I look back and I'm like, damn, this was a turning point.
Right?
You know, that's, I think that's a goal, is that from what we're doing here, the work that we're putting in here in this space, we'll be able to look back on and be like, damn, we did that, you know?
Yep.
It's kind of the same thing. Just putting in time, putting in work.
Yep. You'll probably see this backdrop for the next year, and then it'll change.
Yeah.
If we're practical and realistic with,
I think this works for what it
with
what it needs.
how time progresses. Yeah. I'm looking forward to it though, man. I couldn't agree more. Like this, and I live here, right? He just comes through. This is
our office,
right? Change the whole living room up. It's all office now.
Yeah.
And then kitchen, and then the back.
Cool.
So, it's cool. But thanks for tuning in. Do we have anything else we want to drop?
I think that's it.
I think it's good. Today was.
It's just a casual chat. If there's anything that you guys want, like, I know Dream that you're watching, you know, all these episodes. Like, you've been awesome. We really appreciate you. If there's something you want us to talk about, like particularly, like, I have a lot of photo knowledge, but like it's hard for me to kind of just be like, okay, today we're going to talk about, like, I could go in depth on.
He did ask about the wallets, and that's something for Tech Tip Tuesday.
Oh, that's right. Cool.
But
I mean, we could do that next time.
What about interviews? Is there certain interviews that?
Yeah, do you guys want to see more art, NFTs, crypto?
Because we're consistently Monday, Friday.
We're figuring this out.
Right?
Yeah.
And once this project launches, we're going to be on a much more structured time schedule.
He says that, but we're never.
No,
I don't know if we'll ever get structured.
Trust me.
We'll see.
Trust.
Maybe it's better without structure, just winging it.
No. This is just a temporary thing. This is just a temporary thing. We're going with the flow. Got to adapt.
You're ever going to stop ranting?
Nope.
You're on a tangent.
I'm going to go on a tangent. I was actually waiting for Dream to respond. For Gary.
There you go.
Yeah.
All right,
Cold wallets, dude. Focused Falcon. I can't tell if he's making a joke about us not being focused. Focused Falcon.
This guy.
Because if that is, that's a good one. I fucking love it.
All right. Cool.
Cool. Well,
Let's sign off.
I think this is the end of episode 11.
Yep.
Thank you for tuning in. And we hope you guys have
BitmonkeyTV.
a great day.
Yeah.
Turning out. Peace.
Bye.